Well, hello, and welcome to my latest map, and my first full map, actually, come to think of it. This is the minimum effort map experiment, abbreviated to Project M.E.M.E, because that's what acronyms do. It's an April Fool's Day map. Kind of, mostly, sort of. Also sort of not. It's a map. It's a full map. It's a 16 wall map. And it is mine. Obviously, if you've not played the map yet, I recommend you do that. Of course, I'm going to recommend you do that. I will nevertheless try not to spoil anything in future areas until we get to those areas, because the map is hot off the press. It is the 3rd of April. This was released on April Fool's Day, which was 2 days ago, so... I understand if people are watching this and they haven't finished the whole map yet, but I recommend you at least start it. Right, yes. I started working on this map in January. I do not remember the exact date, but I think it was a couple of weeks into January. It was not intended originally to be an April Fool's Day map. The entire premise and point of the map is what happens if I tried to make a full map and did not care about the usual stuff that holds me back from making a full map, aka perfectionism and polishing everything. So I made this map efficiently. Efficiency is the aim of the game. Everything that I did, more or less, I tried to do in the name of doing it kind of quickly, but mostly just in the simplest way possible. It was not intended to be an April Fool's Day map, but it kind of ended up that way. It ended up being ready-ish a couple of weeks before April the 1st, so I decided, hey, the map's concept fits the theme, it would be good to release this on that date. So I did. And there we go. I also did not intend, originally, for this map to acronym to meme. That is not a backronym. I came up with that name and then realised what it acronymed into, and then, yeah. It's too perfect to not keep. We have the special thanks signs. There's a couple of names on here. Pyro Stunts, Words. MC Stack is a brilliant tool, but people usually don't credit it, so I decided I'm gonna credit it. The map does not have a cartographer. The map does have item builder. This was the first time I used the bulk spawner editor, which was pretty useful, actually. It also uses Eris's monument data pack, which I've coded similar things myself before, but again, simplicity, efficiency. It already exists, why not use it? MCA selector, if you don't know what that is, it removes unnecessary chunks, so the base world is a lava superflat. Those chunks over there are not included in the world file, they are generated by the lava superflat, so this minimizes file size, basically. I think that's it. Comp is credited for 2 things, because he also tested the map for me a couple of weeks back. This kind of went, I need your help testing a thing. Join this server. And he tested it for me on very short notice, not knowing what he was getting himself into, so I am very appreciative of that. And I added this item for him after that, so this is one of the most recent additions to the map. It's just an offhand. It's not an especially good offhand, but it's an offhand. And this map doesn't have too many of those. So this is still a pretty good starting item. The mobs here are easy. 3 crits with no weapon, and it goes down. I will talk about the spawners in a minute. This thing gives you some starting upgrade crystals, which are items typically found in chests around the map. This is kind of a nod to the thing KVT has done in a couple of the most recent event maps that he's compiled. He has a little chest head at the start of the map that you punch and you get like a wooden axe or whatever. It's nice because it scales with how many people you are. Each person can press the button once and get their own set of items, so it kind of makes the beginning of the map a little bit nicer and allows each player to get their own starting items without giving out hundreds and hundreds of these if you are one person. That mechanism also uses a tag. You can tag entities now, and it kind of acts like a scoreboard that's specific for that entity. Yeah, it's the first time I've ever used tags, so that's pretty cool, I think. I did originally intend to do it with a scoreboard, and then came across tagging, and tagging actually proved to be the easier choice. It's pretty simple. It's like 3 command blocks back behind that button. Here is the tree. Here are the wooden tools needed to begin dealing with these spawners. There's not much of a reason to ever come back down to this ring ever again. The tower in the middle is the monument and is very much the center point. But I want the player to actually explore the ring, which is why the tree is on the back side, the opposite side from where you spawn, just to make the player go around here. There is one reason why you will keep coming back down here again later, but it is beneath me, and we will get to that later. Because there is a shortcut to get there, and you're not intended to get to it from this side, so I won't. The spawners in this map. The spawners in this map. They are resistant to light. They are not totally immune to light. I don't remember the typical settings of a typical vanilla spawner now. But you could make them totally resistant to light. They added all this fairly recently. You can dictate what skylight levels spawners should spawn mobs in and what, like, block light level, torches, etc. So these will only spawn things in light levels 8 through 16. They can't spawn in 0 through 8. They also spawn a fair bit quicker than regular spawners. And most spawners in the early game spawn quicker than regular spawners, but as you go further into the late game, the spawners actually slow down and become more in line with regular as the mobs get stronger. There's kind of a counterbalance for how easy, in quotes, the mobs in the early game areas are, is that they spawn quicker. In Area 2, some might say too quickly, but we'll get to that. Tree. Tree is punched. Chest I should probably take as well. Final thing I want to mention about the spawners on this little island in particular is that the zombiesies and the feeble spiders have no drop loot table. Or, well, they do have a drop loot table, but it isn't the regular one. It is a custom one that has nothing in it. So, kind of anti-grinding for these spawners in particular, because they're so close to the monument and they're so easy to kill, you're not going to get mob drops from them. You still get levels, but levels aren't all that useful because there are no anvils, and there is no enchanting table. across there. And here we have our base. Here's a couple of signs. The map uses simple blocks, which is comps data pack, partially for its intended purpose of making block drops clutter your inventory a bit less, and also partially because it just made it so much easier without having to create a bunch of files or drag a bunch of files in to edit crafting recipes. Like the crossbow is one of the main ones. The crossbow I made are much cheaper. The bed is much cheaper. It only needs 3 string instead of 3 wool, because wool is a rarity. And also, many things are much more expensive, often to the point of uncraftability. Shields require a netherite, ancient debris shard thing. Netherite scrap. And those do not exist in the map, so shields are uncraftable, essentially. Such talking, much hydration. You saw the elevator. It's an elevator. This monument is kind of laid out in a deliberately annoying manner. Those chests did not attach to each other, but that's fine. I'm not gonna bother getting an upgraded pick. Or maybe I should that one. Yeah, I should get that one. That's what I'll use the tier 2 for. So yes, the map has villages. And they upgrade basic items into not so basic items. Not that one. This guy does the level 1, so I can make my sword a tiny bit quicker and unbreakable. An efficiency 2 pick. Efficiency 1 pick just makes it unbreakable and gives you a +1 max health, which is pretty useless. The offhand sword is good, but I have the offhand punched card, so I'm fine. And then loads of armor. I'm kind of doing the bandana thing from back in my old jam maps. Instead of giving out regular helmets, I tended to give out helmets that did a thing. Some kind of modifier. And we have some of that kind of thing here that gives you a benefit in exchange for a downside. This one, I think, is the most powerful one. 30% attack damage is pretty good. -3 armor is pretty bad, but generally the benefit exceeds the downside with that one. This one, -50% attack damage is really, really bad. This basically just exists for if you're a speedrunner. That might be worth it in that case. And then max health for speed is meh. And then you've got these versions, which are basically just the same thing, but better. The same main benefit. Massively reduce the downside and add a secondary smaller benefit. So this one changes from -3 to -1 armor, and you get a little bit of attack speed on it as well. For example. And we have the junk trader over here, who gives food, mostly. We've also got other useful blocks, scaffolding and TNT, we've got some ammunition. Though there's a better ammunition trader later in the map that I added. Can get more leather, more bones to trade for more things. The spider eye soup is very, very good, and I like it a lot. Why does it not stack? Why can you not stack stew? The game. And then you can exchange more arrows for basically more arrows. From 64 to 92, 96 shots. if that is you want to use a bow that doesn't have power or anything on it. I'm going to keep this in my inventory until I get more armor, and one of the things I'm most proud of in the map, or at least one of the things that I think works very well, are these. So these just use chest loot tables. So there's 3 of them. There's a chest's low, a chest's medium, and a chest's high. And when you hold one of these, it gives you the items from the corresponding chest. And 2 of the chest further down. So a low gives you a low, a medium gives you a piece of medium loot and 2 pieces of low. And a high gives you 1 high and 2 mediums, which themselves generate lows, so you end up with 1 very good piece of loot, 2 medium pieces of loot, and 4 low pieces of loot. It works on a tick at a time basis, so if you have more than 1, you can just hold them all at once. And that wasn't a good demonstration, because I strolled past. But we got 3 cobblestone and 16 arrows. Pretty much everything in the random loot is useful. There's no useless junk stuff in there. What do I even want to do with 3 cobblestone? Guess I'll make a stone sword. And go down this way. Heading to area 1. Yep. We have a scaffolding bridge. For no particular reason. These mobs are also pretty easy, but at least they do drop loot. We got a low, and that gave me more arrows, I think. Not even sure. Making some torches. Not that I think torches are particularly useful in this map because of the previously mentioned resistance spawners have to torches. There's not that many dark enclosed areas in the map, so lighting isn't that useful. Just generally. Here's some food. The start of the map has no food, so you're encouraged to head out and start exploring things pretty quick. Unless, of course, you happen to get lucky and roll some food from one of the starting random loots. Okay. Maybe should not have headed directly for the skeleton spawner first. Never mind. It all works out. There are 3 different colours of concrete powder that can be on top of chests. The purple ones are always upgrade shards, the green ones are always the random loot items. And the grey ones are always casino chips. Grey ones are the rarest. There are also random loot items and upgrade shards just in other chests as well, but the particular coloured ones have more of them and they tend to be of a better quality than the other ones in the area. There's always usage for more of the upgrade shards, by the way. Even if you don't need them for the basic armor, or equipment, or whatever. There are several other uses of them that we'll find later in the map. And we've got a potion. And maybe I shouldn't wear this armor straight away, so I can actually go back and upgrade it in a minute. Random loot items aren't the only random loot in the map. In about half the areas, I went for just stick important things in chests, and in the other half, like this area, there is other filler loot. Like these sticks, and this flint, and this coal. And that is also not hand-placed. There are not just the 3 chest loot tables that I mentioned. There are also ones for lots of the different individual areas, which just have the filler loot in them. So you can put down a chest, get your filler loot, and then put in any of these items, or other better quality stuff like the leather armor. And this all stemmed really from a desire to not want to have to think terribly much about the exact things that I was putting in each and every chest, because, as I said, minimum effort. So I wanted randomization to do most of my work for me, but I also did not want to do the typical CTM randomization thing of just having, like, MC edit generated filler loot that all appears in the top left corner and strolls across. As you see in some Vex maps like Inferno Mines, and also more recently in things like Sun Guardian. Not saying that that can't ever work. I think it works decently well in Sun Guardian. But I did not want to do that here. Grab that. Trees. Basically, all of the trees in this map are from the Tripository. Again, Eris trees. Loot and loot. I think I'm going to do this loot item thing in future maps as well. I think it works quite well. I have it all set up now, of course. It's pretty easy to edit because it's just loot tables. So it's easy to export it and move it around. Put it back into Misode's generator, where it came from in the first place, and make tweaks to it. The other nice things about it is, what I'm doing now, I do not have to open it right away. I can just have them in my inventory, and I can let them all stack up and only take up a single inventory slot. And then when I get back to my base, I can rip open all the loot boxes at that point. Probably the thing that worked the best in this map, in my opinion. Right, recovery compasses. For no particular reason. This was another thing I added after Comp's playtest of the map. For no real reason. I was just looking through the simple blocks list of what things there are in the game. And I thought, recovery compasses. They are a potentially not entirely useless item that would otherwise be difficult to obtain. Let's just throw a few of them in a chest over here. Don't think I'm gonna need any though. I don't know why I'm even carrying it. I know the map well enough to be able to easily find my way back to any death piles. Not that I intend to die anyway. I did add a death counter into tab so you can keep track of how many times I've been killed by my past self. Hopefully it will remain at 0. It isn't included in the base map itself, primarily because I forgot. But easy enough to add, isn't it? Just 2 scoreboard commands. Die, feeble non-string giving spider. You give me no string, I cannot make scaffolding with you. You are useless to me. Over here we have some melons, which are interesting, because the current version of simple blocks, hopefully this will be changed at some point when Comp gets around to it. I have already raised a bug report. Simple blocks by default does not drop melon slices. It simply drops the melon block, which you cannot then uncraft into melon in any way, so... it is actually useless giving out melon with the current version of simple blocks. You cannot turn it back into food. So I tweaked that. I did not tweak that terribly well. I could have done a proper randomization thing with the loot table and given you a random number of melon, but I didn't. So the melons in this map always drop 9 melon, which kind of makes more sense anyway. Because in order to craft a melon, you need 9 melon slices. Conservation of mass. It's one of many things that the game usually ignores. Thank you, Gizmo, for dealing with that message in the chat. That nobody else saw, because YouTube actually blocked a thing that was good to block. Nice. Another chest plate. Pom 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 pom. There's area 10. Which gets the reward for highest number area joined to lowest number area. That is 9 areas difference. There's also a random button on the bridge. From when I had a command block there a while ago, when I was making items and whatnot, and I removed the command block and did not remove the button. And I knew that the button was there. The button has been there for a while. The button was there during the beta test. and I just didn't do anything about it, because I didn't need to, and it's funny having a random button be there. This dirt here is in case you need to make a farm to get food, but that is highly unlikely. Unless you completely neglect the mob drops for food trader, or get extremely unlucky with the random loot. You are highly, highly unlikely to ever need to make your own food, but the option is there. I don't have any more tier 2s. I could get a tier 1. I guess this actually synergizes pretty well with this, doesn't it? Because the attack speeds cancel each other out. So I've just got plus 20% attack damage, which is pretty nice. And one of these, and one of those. Makes the armor unbreakable, which isn't too bad at all when it's only leather, and also gives you a little bit of max health as well. Throw some of this random stuff in here. Let's unpack all of these and see what we get. Food, bones, which can be exchanged for even more food, some wood, efficiency 1 wood pick, which I don't need because I've already got an efficiency 2 unbreakable, and some leather delivered in a slightly more annoying form. The traders only accept full durability items. It's just how traders work. That, and I can exchange all of this and all of this for food. Actually, let's do that. Seeing as how I have the arrows to do that currently, I may as well do that. And we have good food, and we have good potion. Well, potion. I want to say good potion. It ain't that good, but it's a potion. Yeah, let's just throw this thing. Not durable enough to last much longer. This first area is, I think, fairly objectively the most boring area in the map. I did, in fact, make that island first and this island second. Terrain-wise, there's not much to see. It is mediocrely eroded terrain with small ruins in it. And mobs that are pretty much zero threat. But it teaches you some of the unique mechanics of the map, some of the unique items like the upgrade shards and the loot things. And there's a lot of basic coal and other supplies in here you can come back for if you don't want to full clear it very easily. More cobble, nice. Here's the first objective. A lot of mobs have spawned down here. That's fine. They're all easy mobs anyway. Same applies to the next area, but the mobs build up a lot more in that one. This area being very easy and very basic and very simple is also good for me right now, because that means I can talk about all the stuff throughout the whole map, like I'm currently doing. Not talking much about the area itself. There isn't much to talk about. Apart from the whole melons thing. More armor. More chest. Here we have a couple of useful things. We have some stone tools. Primarily intended as easy resource gathering tools. You want lots of blocks? Break dirt with efficiency shovel. You want lots of wood? Break wood with efficiency axe. The axes are also really not bad as weapons at this stage of the game. Back we go to place the first objective. And whoop. Now, the wool is not wool, it is wool. 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 I don't even know how you pronounce that word. Wool. Why is the wool wool? Well, I mentioned this in Any Stuff's second stream, but it is basically his fault. He complains about people using wool for every map in existence when other options are now available, like coloured beds and terracotta and glazed terracotta and candles and etc, etc, etc. You could also text your own monument blocks, you could use heads, and so on and so forth. I quite like wool, because it's the classic. But I also fully get where he is coming from. So I wanted to do something that was kind of not wool, but also in the most minimum effort way possible, as befitting the theme of the map, and thus we end up with wool. I'm gonna make myself another stone sword. And area 1 is done. I think I've cleared all the buildings. I may have missed one or two, possibly. It all looks very samey. If I have, it's just going to be more of the same low tier loot. Let's move on. I've lingered around in this boring area for long enough. Let's go to area 2. which is this one over on this side. The area name is From Dust. The area is a bunch of dilapidated structures in a lava sea. If you've caught that this is a From Flames and / by extension From Ashes naming reference, congratulations, you are correct. This area spawns a lot of mobs. There's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, there's the aforementioned the spawners spawn things more quickly than regular vanilla spawners thing. And secondly, there's the layout of the area itself, which is a bunch of stacked floors, which means you're often close to spawners on higher floors, and spawning things that are above / directly below. Look at all these zombies that have already spawned up here. I have not been up here for very long, but already these guys have had a couple of spawning cycles. Means if you want to play this area well, you need to play fairly quickly. We have Tier 2 upgrade fragment. Mind you, kind of like Area 1, this area is intended to kind of be a place that you can come back to in order to get more basic raw materials if you need. Therefore, most of these buildings you actually don't need to go into. The objective is right there. In this central main larger than average building, which directly connects to the very first building you go into. So actually, if you only want to minimally clear the area, you really don't have to do that much of it. Just 2 buildings. All of these spiders are idiots and have gotten themselves stuck on the ceiling. That's fine. This here is one of the things that I added after comp beta tested the map. Which I think I only actually changed to this recipe after that point as well. This is the new crossbow recipe. I am not trusting the player to look up how to make a crossbow. So... what have I done wrong? Like this, isn't it? It's not like that. Crossbow! Crossbow. Crossbow. There we go. It's similar to the old crossbow recipe, but instead of a iron, we need a button. Any button will do. Doesn't have to be an oak button, it can be a stone button. Mangrove button. It just uses the Minecraft button tag, so any button, and a lever, which means crossbow without the use of iron. I don't think crossbows are that much better than regular bows anyway. You want to make... Going to the chest. In fact, maybe I should just be breaking all the chests rather than manually looting them. Off the ledge with you. And back. Let the skeleton run further down the stairs. Maybe. I can't tell. There's another spawner. Can't hit anything from here. Something which I did not originally intend, but realized during my own alpha test and decided not to fix, is another simple blocks interaction. These blocks drop cobbled deep slate. That's cobblestone. You can make stone tools very, very easily at this point. And I did not originally intend the player to have too much stone here. The stone is in the low tier random loot table. You already saw that I got some earlier. But you're not intended to have much of it. And with this area, you can have lots of it. But the limiting factor is the upgrade materials. Like this wooden pick is better than a stone pick anyway. The unbreakable tier 1 stone sword is... wooden sword is kind of on par with a stone sword. It's slightly quicker. Kind of makes up for the fact that it has less damage and it's unbreakable. So I didn't care enough about the player having stone here to actually do anything about that. So, hooray, you get stone. All the random blocks like in that chest are, again, another random loot table. Here's our first random loot medium. Oops. Bit of this tree figure here. Stairs, presumably. Off you go. And yes. Creeper spawner down the stairwell. These mobs really do get hung up on stairs. Gotta be careful with those creeper spawners, with them being more resistant to light and all. It's more likely that they'll spawn right on top of you. And that would be bad. Random loot, random loot, random loot. We got 7 spider eyes already. Those things build up very quickly. I can get a lot of spider eye soup. Right, that's 2 buildings clear. Sure, that can go there in lieu of the now non-existent potion. Let's go for the middle building. I did remove a fair few spawners from this area. Still too many things spawning. But I did remove a few of them. There used to be even more. Only from the structures surrounding the edge, though. All the ones in this middle tower are still here. And we have a potion. Haste for 2 minutes, strength for 2 minutes. It's a very useful potion. Shuffle that around a little. Health 1 splash. Let's just throw away some of these blocks. Bad. Blow up! Right, bottom floor clear. Minus a drop creeper, apparently. Wherever that is. Here's the other early game potion. Speed for 2 minutes, jump boost 2 for 2 minutes. I don't think it's quite as useful as the strength and haste one, but it's still very good. So we have our first item builder item. So it's one with a pretty lame effect. Your movement speed increases when you're drawing it to about the same as normal walking pace-ish, kind of. Maybe. That one. There we go. But having speed while using a bow is a little bit weird because of the whole zoom effect. That means I can, like, back away, advance, shoot, back away, while not having to worry about being slower because I'm drawing the bow. Is that useful? Not really. But it's more useful than a regular bow without it. It's something. It is a thing that is. And I am running back because my inventory is full. There are a couple of shulker boxes in the map. The most accessible one is in Area 3. Don't really know why I took the elevator all the way up. Could have just taken the stairs. Start throwing armor in a dedicated chest. Armor, 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 armor. Armor, armor. I can make so much stew. So much stew. We have a TNT, or without the use of any sand. Could have just changed the TNT crafting recipe, really, on that one, but I added these traders before I started tweaking crafting recipes. Soup, 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 soup. Soup kitchen. Now you shuffled over that way slightly. Get back in position. This base has barriers in between these little walkways here, but not on the edges here, and not in the middle here. I've noticed several people wander straight up to this, elevate it in the middle here, without realizing there are no barriers, and they just fall off. Which is not intentional, but it fits the theme. Upgrade shards, cobblestone. Got lots of blocks, potions. Bong bong. More blocks, really? Nothing especially useful. It's an Unbreaking 1, Efficiency 1 pick. So the way these generate their items is they're not just an item with an enchant. There's a thing you can do on loot tables to apply random enchants, so it's just doing, give me the equivalent to an enchanting table level 1 enchantment. So it might give you Unbreaking, it might give you Efficiency, in this case Lucky, and I got both. It's never going to be anything great though, because they're all level 1 enchants. That from the medium. We have a little bit of iron, which is potentially useful for you, mostly. When I get tier 3 upgrade clusters, I can get myself some nice armor. Food is already looking good. I did not want to fill this with random stuff. Yeah, I've not tried this map with a very large group of people, but I think it'll work well with a very large group of people. Let's look at all these spare things. I could get more unbreakable gear. I just gather more of these low tier random loot items. Get more basic upgrade things. You can get a lot of basic tier gear. The way this setup is set up, and with other ways to spend those things later, which mean they aren't completely useless for me as a single player. I think this map will work well with single player or multiplayer. So that's pretty cool. Right. Staircase up is on this side. These are also small ruins. They don't look very small, but these buildings are also small ruins. Whoop. Just with some floors added in. Have a small ruin on the outside as well, and then we have another small ruin on the inside of this one. Small ruin inside a small ruin. Let's break you entirely. Keep going up. See, I gave that one an opportunity to spawn a second time. Which I do not particularly want to do. Let's just keep scaling this thing quick. Because if I let them, lots of things are going to build up on the top floors. I would like to avoid that. I would like to avoid there being a huge mess of things on the ceiling. Moving quick, moving quick. How many things have appeared up here? Yeah, not that many. Nothing a well-placed creeper blast or two can't deal with. Gotta run. Cool. Ah, more skeletons. This is precisely what I wanted to avoid. What the heck are you aiming at? Not me. And I think we're clear. Lovely. Objective number 2, we have the red wool. The wool order is not the traditional CTM wool order. The wool order is how the wool are kind of arranged in the new creative menu. They rejiggered the entire creative menu pretty recently. So the wool are now in really a much more logical gradient order. So brown first, then red, then orange, then yellow, da-da-da-da-da-da. And that is what I went with for this map. So second wool is red. Here is our first casino chip. All of these other smaller structures that are disconnected from everything have nothing at the top of them, but this one has something. Don't really care about using blocks to get up and down here because my pick has no durability. The only other thing I want to get from this area is the second casino chip of the area, which is over there. What floor does that bridge head out on? Still down quite a bit. I left a few things up here, didn't I? Random loot. Upgrade shards. Take more blocks. Random loot. And not terribly useful instant health 1 splash potion. Did I get this floor? Nope. More potions, more basic armor. More potions, more potions, more potions, more potions. This middle building specifically has a lot of potions. And all the other buildings around here have more loot of this general quality. I don't think I need any more loot of this general quality. Block off that. Block off that. See, I'm pretty sure there would have been a spawner on this floor at some point. I later removed. I think each and every floor had at least one spawner on it to begin with. And a ruin is not small. These ruins are very much not small. Okay. Swap to the sweep attack weapon. Or maybe just run. Maybe just retreat. Heal one at a time. And finally break you. There we go. Second casino chip. And that is everything valuable in this area. I have my easy draw bow. I have my 2 casino chips. I am leaving. The rest of the area is really just more of the same, in case you need more gear. This map does have no grave data pack. We have no keep inventory. We have no grave system. It's the old school, you die to the lava, you lose everything kind of a map. Which I figure is alright, because, again, I'm giving you the option of having lots and lots and lots of basic gear. So you can pretty much always re-gear. And though the loot quality does obviously go up, the loot quality never goes skyrocketing. You can get iron armor, you can get Prot 1 chain armor. That is more or less as good as it gets. This map has no diamonds in it. The map has no netherite in it. With one specific exception. And all the mobs are kind of based around that quality of loot, so you're never really gonna get to a point where you're gonna have nothing suitable. Even if you inventory wipe a few times. Casino chips can go here, along with the upgrade shards. In fact, let's jostle everything along a bit to make room for the tier 3s that will eventually go there. I want a chest for potions. I probably want a chest for potions. As is typical, we're going to end up with quite a few potions by the end of the map. Sharpness 1 wooden sword, on the random 1 level. And I think I'm good on everything else. Let's take that. Maybe one of these. 39 levels. There are a few items that use levels, but most of them are from the casino. A few of them aren't, but they are much later in the map. Can't really do anything with our 39 levels right now. I'm making my way to Area 3, which I think we should be able to finish in half an hour. It's pretty short. The slab. This is an area inspired by a couple of things. Obviously the old ant farm maps. It is very much one of those. It's also kind of Race for the Wall map inspired. It is that thing. I've made a couple of Race for the Wall maps, and this does that same thing of just being like a thin area. With everything compressed in the way, and the parallels to that only get stronger with the reverse, which is directly behind this area. And is kind of the same area again, but with different detailing and a different block palette and different mobs and etc, etc. Which is behind here on the other side, and if you were to 180 degrees this area around and 180 degrees that area around and space them apart a little bit more, it would be like having a Race for the Wall area. With the two lanes facing each other. Anyway. Here we have one of the other uses for Tier 2 upgrade fragments. We have the box of oddities, which I also give you a free sample of in here, along with jukeboxes, because you need some way to get jukeboxes. I did not change the crafting recipe, so you don't get diamonds. These have discs in. You need jukeboxes. I'm also explaining how the simple blocks stonecutter thing works, kind of. You want brick walls, you gotta craft them in here. And not in here, for example. And each one of these boxes of oddities contains one random goat horn, one random music disc, which can be any of them apart from... I forget the name of one of the new ones, apart from 13 or the new one that you need to craft from the music discs shards. Basically, both of the music discs that are more lore-y rather than music-y. One pet spawn egg, which could be cat, wolf, rabbit, horse, or creeper. I should have included parrot, really, but I didn't think of that one at the time. 2 low random loot items. As I said, they're generated by a loot table. It's basically just a case of generate them in this chest, rather than when I'm holding an item. And 1 other random item. And there are many possibilities as to what that could be. Some of which might be a lot more useful than others. This time we got a sponge. Which is one of the more meme-y outcomes that is obviously useful for nothing because there's no water in this map. But you could potentially get a Totem of Undying from that. There are some good possibilities. The disc that I ended up with is more. I think I still have the... no, I don't. I do not have the Sun Guardian resource pack on, so that will actually play more. I got my cat, Storm. I got the THX Goat Horn. And I got an Efficiency 1 wooden pick from one of my 2 low random loot rolls, which is pretty useless. Apart from the fairly low chance to maybe get a Totem of Undying, those boxes are not overly useful. They are a way to spend Tier 2 upgrade crystals that you don't otherwise need, but there are better ways to spend those. Here we have me actually giving you cobblestone directly, having not realised when I made these chests that Area 2 is, thanks for simple blocks, full of cobblestone. Never mind. If you want cobblestone legit, here it is. And apples and other miscellaneous junk filler. There is bamboo. You could make scaffolding, but you could also just buy scaffolding. There is the reverse. As I mentioned, it is merely this area mirrored, palette swapped. Details changed up, like these pillars don't exist in that version, and then the spawners changed, the chests changed. It's the same base terrain, though. Very race for the wool of me. More random loots. Gear quality in this area is already not that much better than the previous one. Let's not look in that chest right now because I want to get down here quickly. Ruh-roh. I've let myself get pinned. Run. No, 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 no. Stay away. No more potions. It's pretty bad. Reduced spawner delay and the increased light resistance hurts if you let these remain alive for too long. Here's our first shulker box that I mentioned earlier. I typically, for the past few mini-maps, etc., put the objectives inside shulker boxes, but I did not do that for this map. Therefore, they are quite a bit rarer. Part of that is because I don't want the player to be carrying around too many items at once, because no death data pack. So if you die to lava, you're going to lose everything in any shulker box you're carrying as well. I don't really want that to happen. I don't want the player to have too many things in shulker boxes that they end up losing. Thus, I've not given out that many shulker boxes. Spider spawner is an annoying place. Noticed a couple people in the map not immediately noticing that one, and it's spawning more spiders. Yeah, I kind of want to kill you and break this quick. There we go. They're gone. Another medium. And we have our first flushed. This armor is not terribly useful because it has 0 durability. Wow, not 0 durability. 0 armor. No armor, no armor, no armor. However, as Comp realized when he was playing the map, and I did not previously think of this, these are still accepted by the armor traders. So you could potentially use this armor and then an upgrade shard and have good armor. So despite the fact it has 0 armor, these items are not actually entirely useless. I don't think I'm going to need this 0 armor, even so though, because I explored Area 1 and Area 2 thoroughly enough, to the point where I already have a lot of armor. Cobble, 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 and another upgrade shard. You just blow up your spawner. Down here we have a pit of dripstone spikes. There's nothing actually down there. It's just a pit of dripstone spikes for if you get knocked off the bridge. Die, please. I need to break that spawner. Okay. Do. Why explore when you could not? Just slip right past you right here. Well, I'm not going to spoil what Render did, because I'm sure you will see when KVT posts that video. But Render did not get to this objective in an orthodox manner. The chest has some better quality loot in it. Obviously. you can see the better quality loot that I just picked up. We have an efficiency 1 gold pick. We have 3 gapples. That is some pretty good stuff. TM. Pick especially is a very, very nice pick. It's a very fast pick for this map. I'm going the wrong way. Gotta go back down this way. Mm-hmm. 45 levels. What am I going to do with all of this? Orange wall! Now, it's not just the wall. We do have 2 bonus objectives up there as well, but we can't really work towards either of those yet. There is the emerald block, and how to get that should become fairly clear once we reach the casino, and there is also the iron block, which is easy enough to require. It's very easy to require. It's also easy enough to acquire, but only once we get to the areas that actually contain iron. Anything useful in this medium? 16 steak. That is not especially helpful. Maybe once I amass a bit more of it, but not right now. Food! So much food. Just put that in there for now. And I think we just about have time for the funny Tetris area. It's a pretty quick area. Obviously, this is the most visually striking area, which you're immediately going to see from spawn. It's Tetris, isn't it? The name is a reference to Tetris, obviously, but also a funny flash animation by the name of Tetris. I don't know how old it is at this point. It's an old thing. It's one of those stick figure animations of stick figure dodging Tetris blocks, essentially. There's a whole alien invasion thing going on as well, with Tetris blocks being from space. I don't know. Anyway, here we have some Space Invaders. They are a double pun because, haha, Tetris is an arcade game. Space Invaders is also an arcade game. But mobs also have knockback resist, so they literally invade your space. I am funny. We have the gaming slippers. The gaming slippers do not give any armor value, but they have feather falling 3. They also come in 5 different colours. And they are also a callback to Seasonal Skies and the Trident area and the Party Socks, which are a pretty similar item with a pretty similarly dumb name, but also have high feather falling. We have I've not mentioned the main mechanic of the area, but you can see it. When I'm stood near any of these heads with the particles, I get a high level of jump boost. Jump boost to 9, in fact, which is just the right level of jump boost to be able to make it up onto one Tetris block from another Tetris block, and it means I can also drop down like that, and the jump boost will catch me and stop me from taking any fall damage. Ah, that's lovely. Parkour is really the challenging bit of the area. And I'm going to cheat. These jumps are all possible without placing blocks, but these ones in particular are a little bit tricky, so I will displace a couple because I'm bad at parkour. This one, you actually need to stand on this top block to be able to make this jump. When I tested this area myself, before I gave it to comp, these spawners did not spawn only one mob at a time. They acted like all the other spawners in the map and tried to spawn 4 things at once. These are the only spawners in the map that I've turned down, so they only spawn 1 thing at a time. When they spawned 4 things at once, this area was much, 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 much harder. It was pretty ridiculous. I got stuck inside of a Tetris block tunnel corridor with like 8 of them on, I think, that purple block down there with 8 archers that I tried to kill. It was not a good time, but now this is just a nice, pretty quick, simple, fun area. As you can saw, it literally took me 5 minutes. Here is the intended quick way down. If you actually bothered to look behind where the objective is, but I've noticed that none of the people that I've seen play the map so far have found that, at least not directly. I don't know if any stuff's found it or not. I left before he went back up here after he placed the wall. He did not jump straight down. But I think he figured out just by inference that there must be something here, because why else would these Tetris blocks be here? Which is very well figured out. Well deduced. Good deduction, that man. Anyway, there is in fact a casino chip back here, and there is this pressure plate, which gives you 20 seconds of slow falling, which means I can very, very easily get back down out of this area and straight back to the monument without needing to head back down all the annoying little drops. Huzzah! There's also a little bit of slow falling at the bottom of the elevator there, so that if you fall down the elevator shaft, you're fine. Hello, wall. Kaboom. Already a quarter of the way through the map. We have 3 casino chips, which are all of them so far. The amount of chips goes up as you go through the map. But for now, I don't give out that many. Because the loot is fairly low tier at this point, and because you don't even have anything to use them for quite yet, we've not found the casino yet. A sharpness 1 stone sword out of one of those mediums. It's not a bad weapon at all. Hi. Cobblestone. Food. More cobblestone. More stripped wood. Could maybe speedrun lanterns. I'm not sure that I want to. I think quarter of the way through the map is a good stopping point. I think this is a good place to end. I think that I am running out of time anyway. So that is going to do things for today. I think I talked even more than usual. Definitely more than usual. Yeah. Yeah, you did just get here. Hello, goodbye. Thank you very much for watching. Hope that you enjoyed. Stay safe, and until next time, I shall see you soon. Next time, we go that way, and then down. Woo. Let's maybe go up the elevator one final time. The elevator is fun. At least I think the elevator is fun. Simple pleasure.